Charlie Roadman, Austin criminal defense attorney, and today I kind of want to do a little public service announcement about letters that are being sent to people who are arrested for DWI from Ignition Interlock device companies that are somewhat deceptive and kind of imply that you need to get an Ignition Interlock device through their company. They have a lot of sort of pseudo advice on there and claims and things that aren't totally accurate. And I just sort of wanted to let everyone know to watch out, because a few of my clients have really wondered whether this was some sort of court order saying they needed to do this. So let's look at one in particular, and I'm not even going to talk about the name of the company. This is one of the ways they do this. So first they have a government style logo, kind of a pseudo looking thing that maybe makes you think it's legitimate. They talk about enrolling in programs, okay, which sounds nice if you could just enroll in a program to fix stuff. They talk about their website is texasregainlicense.com, and of course that is what everyone wants. That's not really the name of the company, and that website doesn't necessarily make that happen. There's a thing here where they talk about sealing your record. Okay, that you need an Ignition Interlock device to seal your record. And there are some scenarios where that's true, but there's some scenarios where that's not true at all. They talk about things being required, okay? If it's not your first DWI, you may be required. And they have all those sort of may type language in there to make it, not 100% false, but not always true at the same time. Now, here's something like they talk about: you may need to get an Ignition Interlock device. You may need to do all these things. And that, of course, is true, that you may need to do that, but you might not. And that sort of leads us to the only helpful advice on this flyer, that the only advice that is not designed specifically to have you purchase the Ignition Interlock device or rent it from them, is this, where it says, information in this mailer does not provide legal advice and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney. You should consult with an attorney with questions regarding your legal rights and obligations. Those two sentences are definitely true. Let's look at this other one. This one talks about you may only have 72 hours. I mean, maybe you might have 30 days. You might have 21 days. It talks about upon conviction you will need. Okay, that's not true at all. Okay, you may need. Okay, but they're trying to sort of give legal advice claims, but that sentence is not true. And then here they advise you to pay DPS. And I say, no, don't pay DPS until your attorney's told you to pay them, because for one, DPS is terrible about this stuff. They'll cash your check and then not credit your account, okay? Especially if your license isn't suspended yet, which on a DWI case, it gets suspended later in the process. So if you pay them before that happens, they're just gonna act like, no, we didn't get it, even though you're holding the check that they cashed, okay? Now, they will give you credit for that money after you prove that to them, but they'll just pretend like they didn't get it. So, main thing here, you do have to comply with all bond court requirements, okay? The bond people, the pretrial services, and the court, they're not going to be deceptive with you. If they say you need to get an Ignition Interlock device, you do, and they'll tell you the amount of time and stuff like that. But beware of advertisements, okay? They're not really good. I mean, the problem is there's so many different variables in a case that there's no way they can write one letter that applies to everybody. It's not possible. And then finally, my advice is talk to an attorney before you install the Ignition Interlock device, just to make sure that you understand that it's required. Okay. But like I said, if pretrial services told you to do it or a judge told you to do it, then I'm sure it's required. Just don't trust some letter you got in the mail. All right. I hope this helps.